Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ebony. I'm a human design reader, expert, and coach, and today we are talking about we're talking about how you communicate, okay? And this is going to be part one of a two-part series because initially I wanted to go over your Mercury gates and how that translates into like your message and how you communicate, but this first part we're actually going to go into the gates of the throat center because that's really fun, and I have a thing that I want to do that I'm so excited about. So we're going to cover the throat gates in this video, and then the next video, part two, will be your Mercury and how, all that translates. And it will correlate very nicely with the gates series that I'm going to do. And I've decided that I'm going to do like one at the beginning and one at the end. So I'm going to do gate 1 and gate 64 together. Then I'm going to do gate 2 and gate 63. Because like, imagine if I started from the very beginning and the people with like the gates in the 60s have to wait all the way till the end. Like, that would be awful. So we're going to do it this way. So that way we can just meet in the middle. For the middle people, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, it's fine. So this video is going to be the goats. Oh my God, the gates of the throat center. If you would like to work with me, whether that's courses or a program or getting a reading, all of that information will be in the description. Also, I have something very exciting coming. I'm so excited. It's a surprise. It's going to be great. You guys are going to love it. You guys are going to love it. If you loved Get Your Shit Together, you're going to love this. You're going to love it. I'm so excited. Okay, so gates of the throat center. I have notes because the throat center is it's the second most defined center in human design. Okay, because the first is the sacral center, right? 70% of the population is a sacral being. The second most defined center is the throat center. It has 11 gates, y'all. There's 11 gates in the throat center. So lots of possibilities to have a defined throat center. But even if you don't have a defined throat center, even if your throat center is undefined, you could still have defined gates in your undefined throat center. So when we're going through the gates, I want you to look at your chart and see which of these you have defined and see how they correlate to how you communicate in your daily life, because these gates that are defined are the way that you how you most use your voice, how you most often use your voice. Now, I do want to say, because we have the transits, right? Like the planets are constantly moving through the gates and activating them in our daily life, and we get around other people and we take on energy from them. So it's not like you can only use your voice to communicate in this way. It's just, this is what you have consistent access to because this is what's consistently defined in your charts. But we all kind of communicate in all of these different ways. It's just a matter of, number one, how comfortable, like which ways are you most comfortable with, and which ways do you do the most often and the most consistently. So that's that. And I have a little game. I have a little game that I want to play with you guys. So for anyone, I have 5 gates defined in my throat center. I have a very active throat, obviously. Like, I could talk forever. I have 5 defined gates in my throat center. So I have a little game. Anyone who can guess correctly all 5 of the defined gates that I have in my throat center, let's say the first 3 people who can correctly guess all 5 gates, all 5 gates that I have in my throat center, you will get a free my energy type workbook. You'll get that for free, and you will get a free month in my mindfulness library. For the first 3 people who correctly guess what all 5 gates that I have defined in my throat center, you will get a free workbook, and you'll get a free 30-day access to my mindfulness library, which I'm going to be adding so much. I have so many meditations that I'm adding to that library this week. It's insane. So also, if you want to sign up for that, you get 2 months free if you sign up before January. But if you win, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So that's the game. So if you want to participate, just after you finish watching this video, comment down below what you think my 5 defined gates are. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with gate 62. So gate 62 is the gate of logical explanation. Okay, and this connects your ajna center to your throat. This connects your ajna center to your throat center. And if you have this gate defined, then you are meant to use your voice to share the facts. Okay, you're meant to take very complex situations or sets of data or information and condense it down and express it in a very logical and clear and easy to understand way. Okay, so something that is extremely complex or extremely confusing for somebody else, you're able to take that information and synthesize it and then spit it back out in a way that makes sense to other people. So that is gate 62. Let's go to gate 23. So gate 23 is the gate of clear and powerful communication. Okay, so this also connects the ajna center to the throat center. So if you have this gate defined, you are meant to take very novel, like very new, very complex ideas and communicate them in a way that is concise and in a way that shifts people's perspective. So like the gate it's connected to is the gate of insight. So you have all of these interesting and new ideas in your head if you have this channel. If you have this channel, then you have all these like insights and new ideas in your head. So those insights and those ideas are being pushed down from your ajna center into your throat. So you're meant to communicate these ideas, communicate these concepts in a way that is clear and in a powerful way that gets people to move and take action on what you're saying or shift their belief or their perspective in some way. So essentially your voice is very, very powerful, and depending on what you're talking about, that is how you're going to shift people's view and perspective. So be very careful with that. Gate 56 is the gate of these. Gate 56 is the gate of the theatrical, goodness gracious, the theatrical storyteller. So if you have this gate defined, you are meant to use your voice to educate and entertain people. You draw people in with stories. Okay, so the difference between gate 23 and gate 56, even though they're both connected to the ajna center and you're both kind of giving these new ideas and these interesting ways of thinking, is with gate 23 you're giving the information. With gate 56 you're constructing a story. So it's like, well, you're telling us, y'all know what a story is. You're telling a story in a way that is engaging and that draws in people's attention, and as they're listening to you, their beliefs and perspectives are shifting, and they may not actually realize it. Because they may just think, oh, I'm listening to this really cool story and this person's telling it and it's really engaging and I'm really I'm paying attention. But in reality, your story and the way that you speak specifically, the way you tell it, is shifting them from the inside. Okay, so that is gate 56. You tell stories. Gate 35 is the gate of wisdom from experience. Okay, so you are here to share experiential wisdom, and you're meant to use your voice to share experiences that you've personally had. So instead of like constructing the story to help get your point across, you're sharing experiences from your actual life. Like you're plucking things that you've experienced, that you've had firsthand experience with, and you are sharing the wisdom that you gained from those stories. So it's not exactly that you're telling this all about the specific experience, or you're telling the story of this experience. You're really picking out the bits and pieces that are going to give value to whoever you're talking to. So it's less of a story and more of just like, oh, this is going to be helpful, I'm going to share this. This will be helpful, I'm going to share this. Yeah? Which is different from gate 33, which is the gate of solitude to story. So with this gate, instead of sharing wisdom from your own life, you use your voice to share wisdom that you glean from other people's stories. So you're a very empathetic person, and people want to talk to you. They want to tell you their experiences. They want to tell you their stories, right? So what happens if you have gate 33 defined? We've moved on from gate 35, now we're at gate 33. If you have gate 33 defined, As you're listening to someone tell you their experience or tell you their story, you're able to put yourself in their shoes in a way that you can glean wisdom from that experience without you actually having to go out and experience it. So because you've been able to listen to this person's story and get wisdom from it, you can then share that wisdom with other people, even though that wasn't your firsthand experience, but you have the ability to connect so deeply with other people's experiences that you gain wisdom from what they've told you. I hope that makes sense. So that's the difference between gate 33 and gate 35. One is you're sharing wisdom from your own experience, and one is you're sharing wisdom that you've gotten from other people's experience. So it's like secondhand experience, but still valid, like, hello. Okay. Oh, something else I forgot to mention. All of the gates in the throat center, aside from gate 45, 35, and 12, are all projected channels. Actually, let me go into that. So projected channels are channels that when you're using them, when you're taking advantage of them, you want to make sure that you're waiting for the invitation. So the reason that they're projected channels is that because if you only had that channel defined in your chart, you would be a projector. So the way that the channels work, there's projected channels, there's manifested channels, there's generated channels, and there's reflected channels. Okay? Most of the channels in the body graph in human design are projected channels. So for example, gate 62 connects the ajna center to your throat. If that was the only channel you had, if you only had gate 62 connected to, I believe it's gate 11. I think it's 11 to 62, which is that channel. If you only had that channel, you would be a mental projector. So that's how we know that the 1162 channel is a projected channel, which means you need to wait for the invitation in order to share whatever gift you have in that gate. So with gate 62, which is the gate of logical explanation, in order to explain something to someone, you want to make sure you have an invitation from them in order to explain it to them. Because what can happen is that, say you're in a study group, right? And you have this really complex set of information and you're getting it. Like you have it, you understand it, and you've condensed it down and you're fine. And say there's someone else in your group who doesn't get it. Like they just don't understand it. If they ask you, hey, can you explain this to me? It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. It's too much. That is your invitation to then share using your gate 62 what you have already kind of condensed for yourself and explain it to them in a very easy to understand and logical way. So that is an invitation. If you are in a study group and someone doesn't get it and you try to explain it to them without them inviting you to do so, it's going to be a problem, right? Because projected channels are meant to be invited first. So that's another layer of this. When you're looking at your human design and you're seeing which of these gates you have defined, see which of them are projected. And then as you're moving through your life, really be very aware of, am I waiting for the invitation before I share my voice? Because your voice is valuable. The things you have to say are valuable. And if you have these projected channels, you need to wait for the invitation before you share. So that way the person who is receiving is actually going to be receptive to what you have to say because they actually invited you to say it to them, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I hope people actually made it to this part of the video. Maybe I'll put a timestamp or something, I don't know. But okay, so we left off on, we did 35 and then I skipped to 33. Okay, so let's go back up to 12. So gate 12, oh, that's what I said. 12, 45, and 35 are not projected channels. 12, 35, and 45 are manifested channels. And why are they manifested channels? Because they connect a motor center to the throat center, right? So a manifester, the hallmark card of being a manifester is having a motor center connected to your throat. So either the heart center, the solar plexus center, the sacral center, or the root center. If you have one of those centers, either directly or indirectly connected to your throat center, you are a manifester or a manifesting generator, right? So these three channels, the 20, the 12, the 45, and the 35, are manifested channels. Okay, so the difference between projected channels and manifested channels is that you don't have to wait for an invitation with a manifested channel. You get to use those as it feels right for you, as you feel pulled, as you feel the urge to use those gifts. That's when you get to use them. Waiting for the invitation is purely a projected channel thing, just like waiting for the invitation is purely a projector thing. Okay, so we were on gate 12. Goodness gracious. Okay, so gate 12 is the gate of amplified communication. Oh, that was my thing. And gate 12 connects the solar plexus to your throat center. So if you have this gate defined, you are meant to express yourself in a creative way. And specifically, you are meant to express your emotions. Okay? So when you express yourself, specifically when you express your emotions, if you have this gate defined, you are going to be impacting people in a very specific way, and it's going to help drive home whatever you're saying. So sometimes what I've seen in a lot of my clients who have gate 12 defined, the way they express their emotions is very, very interesting. Like they won't always say I'm sad. They'll say I'm melancholy. You know, it's I love it because I think it's great. I think that's beautiful. But the way they express their emotions is very, very unique. And it drives people to either move or shift their beliefs, or it impacts them in some way. So the way that you naturally feel to express your emotions, to express yourself, is very, very important, and you need to honor that. Especially if you have that channel that connects your throat to your solar plexus, the way that you feel called to express your emotions is the way that they need to be expressed, because it is going to have the most impact on whoever you're talking to. Okay? So, use your voice to express yourself and your emotions in a creative way. Yes, that is gate 12, manifested channel, gate of amplified communication. Okay. So, let's move on to gate 45, which is another manifested channel. This connects the heart, ego center, to the throat center. Okay, so if you have this gate defined in your human design chart, you're meant to use your voice to direct people and direct resources, right? So a really great example of gate 45 in action is the one and only Martin Luther King Jr. If you have this gate defined in your human design, you are meant to use your voice to direct people, to move them towards a common goal, to direct resources, to get everyone moving in the direction that they need to go in for the betterment of the group. You are literally the director. You're like, this goes here, we should do this, we should do that, we should do that, da, 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 da. That is gate 45. That's the gate of directing voice. Okay? Which obviously we saw Martin Luther King, I believe he was a pastor. I don't know the difference between pastor and preacher. I'm not Christian, so I don't know. But I believe he was a pastor. So there's that element. Obviously, he was a civil rights leader, so there's that. Very, very interesting use of his gate 45, which, love that. I love looking up like celebrities or like political figures, human design chart. It's actually very interesting. Okay, so let's move on to, where did we stop? Let's go to gate 8. Gate 8 is really interesting. This is another gate that I think is really powerful if you are an influencer. And that's the gate of the tastemaker. So you are meant to use your voice to promote things and people. If you have this gate defined in your human design chart, you are meant to draw people's attention to the things that you find interesting or helpful or innovative or unique. The things that you think other people should know about, that other people should be taking advantage of, those are the things that you use your voice to talk about. Okay? Because people are going to listen to you. The way that you speak about the things that have helped you or that have impacted your life in some way, people are going to listen to you because of the way that you speak about them. Yeah? And gate 8 is a projector channel. Gate 8 is a projected channel, okay? Most of these are. There's 11 gates in the throat center. 3 of them are manifested, and 1 of them is manifesting generated. So we'll talk about that one too. Okay. Did we do 31? No, we did not do 31. So gate 31 is the gate of influential voice. And if you have this gate defined in your chart, you are meant to use your voice to influence people. So using your voice to position yourself as a leader by speaking in a very clear and future-oriented way. So these are the people. I was talking about this a little bit in my video about cultivating your biggest talent, because my unconscious Mars is 7, and the gate that connects to is 31. So if you have that channel, that's the channel of the alpha. Super awesome channel to have. I don't have it. But, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So gate 31 is the other half of that gate 7 channel that I was talking about in that video. So if you have this channel, you are meant to use your voice to position yourself as a leader and talk about your vision. Talk about what you see for the future. Talk about what you see, like the things that are coming, the things that you want to see in the future. Very future-oriented tone of voice, which will push people to follow you, because people want to follow people who have vision. Like, nobody wants to follow no one wants to follow Sally who has no vision of the future, right? Who's gonna jump on that train? No one. Like, if the train has no direction, who's getting on the train? Nobody. So that's gate 3. It's gate 31. Okay. I just realized that, never mind. Let's move on. So gate 20. Gate 20 is the only manifesting generated channel in the human design chart. And the reason why is because it is the only channel that connects the sacral center directly to your throat. If you have the 3420 channel, then you are automatically a manifesting generator, because you have that direct connection from the sacral center, which is the biggest motor center in the body, directly to the throat. And this is the only manifesting generated channel in the entire body graph. Okay? So this is a manifesting generated channel. And gate 20 is the gate of in the moment expression, which means you are meant to use your voice to literally channel the things that need to be said in the moment without editing yourself. This is not a gate that wants to be edited. This gate wants to speak. It wants to speak right now, and it doesn't want to be filtered. It doesn't want to be edited. It doesn't want to be censored. And a lot of the time, this gate wants to talk about the things that are exciting for it. Like, whatever is exciting right now, that's what this gate wants to talk about. And it wants to talk about it full force. It wants to talk about it without all the, accoutrements, right? All the edits, all the filtering, none of that. It just wants to say whatever needs to be said. Yeah? Okay, so we're on the last one. Last gate. God, this is a 23-minute video. And that is gate 16. So gate 16 is the gate of skill and enthusiasm. And if you have this gate defined in your human design chart, it's projected channel, then you are here to use your voice to talk about your gifts. You're here to talk about the things that you have mastered. And the reason why is because when you talk about the things that you are good at, the things that you have mastered, you excite people and you push them to action. And this is another thing. This is why my videos are so damn long. The throat center is the manifestation center in the body, right? It's the only manifestation center. Using your voice, all of these gates, right? All of these gates that we've talked about are about using your voice to impact or push people to action in some way. Why is that? Because your voice is the actual physical manifestation of your inner world. That's why the throat center is the manifestation center. That's why all of these gates are like, use your voice to do this, that pushes people to action, because that's what you're doing. Regardless of what gates you have defined in your chart, or if you don't have any gates defined in your chart, I can make a video about that too. Your voice is literally what you're using to push people into action, to bring the things that you want into physical creation, right? So all of these centers, all of these gates, whatever it is that you are here to share, you're sharing it with the intention of pushing someone into action or impacting the people around you in some way. That's what all of this is. Whether you're impacting through stories, whether you're impacting through intuitive channeling, whether you're impacting through logical explanation, whether you're impacting through resources, it's about impact, it's about pushing people to move, and it's about creating into the physical what is currently not in the physical. Okay? So that is the power of the throat center. And when you're speaking from a defined gate 16, you are talking about the things that you have mastered, your skills, your gifts, in a way that is very exciting and awakens enthusiasm in the people that are around you. Okay? So those are the gates of the throat center. So whoever wants to participate in my little game and win some free stuff, comment down below what you think my I have five. And I kind of actually gave one away. I didn't mean to, but I gave one away accidentally. So if you catch it, there's a hint for you. So if you get all 5, again, you'll get a free workbook and you'll get free access to my mindfulness library for a month. If you sign up before January, then you'd get 3 months free if you win. Never mind. I'm not going to confuse you guys. Workbooks, free 30-day access to my mindfulness library for the first 3 people who guess my 5 gates correctly. If you want to work with me in courses, programs, or reading, all that information will be down below. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I will be making a part 2 that go over the Mercury influence on the gates. I will also be starting the Gates series either today or tomorrow. We'll see. And I hope that was helpful, and I will see you all in the next video.